I really just wanted to come in and say good morning. I'm going to wait a minute to see if another few people come in. How are you, Rebbetzin Silber? Color is beautiful.
No, I don't think so.
Thank you. You're ready? You're ready in Manchester?
Yeah, I'm ready to go in to the thing. And I told you that the Le'ilu Nishmas is for Naomi Toft, for her father, yeah?
Right. You didn't tell me the name, though.
I thought I sent that 1 second. I sent it and I wrote the wrong, I fixed it up for everybody because I put, the way I wrote was Yaakov. So hang on. Feivel ben Yaakov. Feivel ben Yaakov.
Okay. Wrote down Le'ilu Nishmaso.
And the Yotzat is on Lag BaOmer, Feivel ben Yaakov.
So we'll talk about Lag BaOmer today. That's what we're going to be learning about.
Okay, I'm going to leave you all here because I better go in. So whoever's there, good morning, and whoever continues to join, good morning. And I will please God listen on the way home. So thank you, and we will speak later.
Okay, be masliach. Be masliach.
Amen, amen, amen.
I'm going to start, even though not everybody's on. Wait, I just have to stabilize my phone here. 1 second. Okay, good. All the early birds. Naomi, this is for your father, Le'ilu Nishmas Feivel ben Yaakov. His yahrzeit is on Lag BaOmer, and we're learning today about Lag BaOmer, so it's very appropriate. Good morning, Marcel. Good morning, Pauline. And good morning, Ginny. And good morning, I forgot who's MK from South Africa. Good morning, Shoshana and Naomi.
Morning.
Good morning, good morning. We're going to start now because I have to actually finish really on time because I have to run into town. Marcel, you have to mute yourself. And good. Okay, Naomi. How many years is your father gone?
It's 2008, so it's 15 years.
15 years. He should have an Elin. His soul should enjoy our share, and we share with him the Torah learning and all of the benefits of the share, and also Lag BaOmer to have a yahrzeit at the same day that Rabbi Shimon Yochai has a yahrzeit is a very big thing. Not everybody gets such a merit, so he should have Bezrat Hashem a good Gan Eden and come back soon with Chiyas HaMesim.
Amen.
Okay, tonight, first of all, is Pesach Sheni. We're not going to talk about that so much, but tonight or tomorrow, early in the day, everybody's going to have matzah. And remember the whole story of Pesach Sheni, that Hashem gives second chances to everyone. And even if a person is tamei, if a person is impure, if a person is blocked spiritually, and even if they're consciously blocking spiritually, that's called tamei. They're blocking or they're being blocked spiritually. But Hashem has ways of fixing that also. And we have to try our best to be supportive and to be non-judgmental and realize that just like we need a second chance on a lot of things, we need a second millionth chance. So too, Hashem gives a second chance on Pesach Sheni, because those who were tamei, the first time there was Pesach in the universe was when the Jews when we came out of Mitzrayim, and there were those Jews who were tamei. And then the second year, when they were in the desert, so they were going to make Pesach again, and there were Jews who were tamei because they were the different, some were holding the bodies of all of the Shvatim, Yosef as primarily, and then really all of them, all of the children of Yaakov Avinu, who had been buried in Mitzrayim and who were taken out and reburied here in Eretz Yisrael. So there were people who were tamei, and Hashem, and they said, "What should we do?" And Moshe Rabbeinu did not know, and he had to ask Hashem, And Hashem said, the reason that I didn't let you know that halacha is because I wanted it to come about by the force of the desire of the people who wanted to become tahar. So you see that, and then the halacha was given out. So you see that the desire, the intense desire for a person to do the right thing has tremendous power and brings to us, opens up new vistas in life for a Jew. So having the right intentions, even if you're not there yet, that's what we're celebrating tonight. And tomorrow we don't say Tachanun, it's a very celebratory day. Okay, but we're going to concentrate more on Lag BaOmer, which comes out the 33rd day of the Omer, which is going to be the Midah on Monday night and Tuesday of this coming week. This upcoming Monday night and Tuesday, it's going to be Hod Sheba Hod, and that's the yahrzeit of Naomi's father, Fayol ben Yaakov, and Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. So we have a tremendous power on that day. I'm going to tell you right away and remind me to tell you again, who has to mute? Please mute yourselves. Marcel and Stella, whoever comes on, please mute yourself right away. Marcel, you have to mute yourself, sweetie. So the power of Lag BaOmer is several levels of power. One of them is tefillah. Ask Hashem whatever you want, but also ask Hashem to attach yourself and your soul to the soul of all the tzaddikim who are alive in this generation. They should all be well, and all the tzaddikim who passed, including Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. We have such a thing. It's a Kabbalistic type of a thought, and it is really. I'm not going to go into how it works now, and not that I understand it, but we're permitted to, and we're actually encouraged to declare that we would like our soul to be attached and connected and unified and influenced by the soul of all the tzaddikim who live now and who lived in the past. You can do that because your soul is not like a quantitative thing where you have to, go to the bank and take out a part of it and share it with somebody. It's not like that. The soul is a different type of an entity altogether. It's higher than angels. The soul that we have, which is really a remarkable gift that Hashem gave us, a soul. But that soul that we have is an entity that is at the same time unique by itself. It's in my body, in your body, and at the same time, it's joined with all the souls of the Jewish people. And with our minds and with our choice, the more we choose to attach ourselves to holiness, then the soul is drawn to that. So we're going to begin the day on Monday night when you count Sphira. Even it's going to be before then, because if you want to be in the places to be, if anyone's going to be in Eretz Israel, you can text me and I'll tell you what my suggestions of where you should go. But we attach our soul to the soul of Rishon bar Yochai and to his. We attach our ratzon, our desire, and our affiliation and our association with Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. Now, I want to tell you that I know you in the UK, you're having a big, the UK, not you necessarily, but the UK is having a big coronation on Shabbos. And Baruch Hashem, not one of us is going to watch it because it's on Shabbos. Afterwards, they'll probably make a recording if those who are curious. But I read in the Arutz Sheva that they gave such a thing that at the moment of whatever part of it's a religious ceremony and it's happening in a church. The moment of whoever just came on, please mute yourself. The moment that whatever they're going to make an announcement, and anyone in the UK is invited to, or anyone in the whole I don't know what you call it, the Commonwealth is invited to make a pledge of allegiance to the new king who's coming in. That's interesting. The fact that the non-Jewish world has such an idea. We spoke about this many times, that everything that exists in the world exists in the realm of holiness, and the realm of the opposite of holiness. Now, the opposite of holiness isn't necessarily evil, and the coronation that's happening on Shabbos in your country isn't necessarily evil, but it's not in the realm of holiness at all. But we can take interesting parallels between that ceremony, which is a big coronation, and we're going to make that declaration when Lahavdil, infinite Havdalos, when Mashiach, the real king, is crowned, and he's representing Hashem. He represents, he's not God, Chas v'shalom, but he represents, he'll be teaching the universe about Hashem. And we will all pledge allegiance to him, just like we're saying now. We're going to pledge allegiance. We're going to align ourselves with the soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Rabbi Akiva and all of the students, Rabbi Meir, the Rabbi Meir that you mentioned when you lose something and you give charity in his name, that's his yard sign is tonight. And tomorrow, all these Tanaim and Amara and these Tanaim, these great, great people, we're aligning ourselves with them. Whoever's getting on, please mute yourself. Sorry, I have to keep repeating it. Okay, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was born 50 years after the destruction of the second Beis Hamikdash. He was born at the very beginning of the final exile. He has a tradition that he was coming from the tribe of Yehuda, and he wrote the book called the Zohar. He is the author of the Zohar Kadosh, which we quote extensively and which has become the basic bread and butter now of our generation. We need the teachings of the Zohar so desperately to keep our sanity and our spiritual sanity. So, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, there's a story that we know that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was living in the time of the Romans, who had destroyed the Beis Hamikdash and who politically took over Eretz Yisrael, and they forbade teaching of Torah, and because they wanted Jews to assimilate. And nowadays, the governments are not so overtly anti-God. So instead of saying stuff like you can't learn Torah publicly or teach Torah publicly, instead of doing that, they try to subvert spirituality by introducing all kinds of gender equality stuff and LGBT, whatever those letters are, and all of that stuff. They try to increase that in the world. Instead of decreasing Torah, which they never were able to do, they're trying to increase immorality and opposition to God and opposition to holiness. And they're doing that by introducing and increasing all of their immoral practices, which is what was happening in Canaan. This is not a new thing. When we read that the idolatry of Canaan did all kinds of immoral behaviors to children in biblical times, it's the same thing that's happening now, except that the people now are wearing suits and wearing ties and jackets and making believe that they're so civil, but they're the same low-life criminals as were in Canaan thousands of years ago in biblical times. So we know that Rabbi Shimon refused to stop teaching Torah publicly, and he had no problem criticizing the Roman government. And there was a person who did major lashon hara, which is, by the way, why the cure and the tikkun haklali for the whole Sfiras HaOmer is upgrade your power of speech and shmiras halashon, learning the Sefer of the Chavetz Chaim, doing everything every single day, learning a few laws, repeating them again and again until we become so sensitive to the laws of shmirat halashon. Because had Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai have his exile, because some Jew who was an atheist decided to speak out against him to the Romans. That's pure lashon hara. That's being a moser. A moser means being an informer. The worst sin a Jew can do on another Jew is to inform him to the authorities, who will then harm that Jew. So Rabbi Shimon found out about this, and he took his son Rebbe Elazar, and they ran up north, found the cave, hid in the cave. Hashem made a bush grow in front of the cave, and they stayed there for 12 years and learned Torah with Eliyahu Navi, who used to come to them all the time and teach them Torah. Now, Eliyahu Navi was so sensitive to, and Eliyahu Navi is a Navi, a prophet who never died, and he will herald the Mashiach. But he was so sensitive to the power of the Torah learning of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that when it came time to tell Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that he could leave the cave because the Romans who wanted to have him killed or dead, he didn't do it directly. He didn't run into the cave, and even though he was there every day teaching him Torah, but he didn't run into the cave to say, "Oh, his message of the people who wanted you dead or they themselves are dead." Instead, he stood outside the cave and he said out loud, "Who's going to tell Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that he can leave the cave now?" In other words, he said that he didn't want to interrupt his Torah learning for 1 second because he knew, Eliyahu Navi knew, that the Torah that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was learning was on the highest level and was keeping the world going, and not just keeping the world going, but Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, in his lifetime, he devoted his life to something that we really don't understand. I'll say it over, but we really don't get it because we're just trying to survive and keep our mitzvah in this world. But Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, his life was all about fixing the sin of Adam Harishon. So I don't know how he did that, but his life was all about the past and every year fixing, to the point where, and the story says in the Gemara that because he was so much teaching about fixing the sin of Adam Harishon, that Adam Harishon came to him and said to him, "Please stop publicizing my mistake. Don't talk about me so much." Adam Harishon was already gone along thousands of years. But Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai kept saying we have to fix the sin of Adam Harishon, and he came back and he said, "It's too hard for me to hear that over and over again, that I destroyed humanity." Okay, why do we light fires on Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's yahrzeit? I'm like, well, what's the whole deal of lighting a fire? And as you know, the main fires are in Meron. Meron is the resting place of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and his son. We've all been there to Meron and to the building that's built on top of the Kfarim, which are all the way buried underneath. And we know that just like in all of the Kfarim, the ancient Kfarim, we know that wherever they're buried in that area, their soul resides. That's where they are. And so, what's the inyan of lighting fires? Whoever just got on, please mute yourself. Whoever got on with the initial R and the phone. I don't mean you should go off. I just mean you should mute yourself. Thank you. So, we light fires. Why do we light? And we have a custom to light a yahrzeit candle, right? Everybody knows that it's the yahrzeit of somebody. So you light a candle for his or her neshama. Why do we do that? So why do we light a candle? You know, you might say in memory. What does that mean? Jews don't do things in memory. That's a silly thing to do. Let's say, it doesn't accomplish anything. You want to do something meaningful. So the pasuk in Mishnah says, "Kiner Adam Nishmas Chaim." A person's neshama is compared to fire, and so we don't have a physical analog of a neshama, of a soul, that's out of a body. We have a neshama in our bodies. We're all here, and our neshamas are in our bodies, and activating our bodies. So when you see a Jew, you're really looking at a body that's containing a neshama. So you have a physical, not a representation so much, but a vessel, let's say, that's containing or housing the neshama. But once the neshama leaves the body, what do we have to? We don't have any physical way of imagining it. It's not like, some people imagine a neshama as like a vapor or a cloud, but Chazal say no, imagine it as a fire. That's how you can imagine a neshama, as a fire, as a light. And so when we have a tradition that when a person's neshama leaves the world, and it's resting in the world of neshamas, that it enjoys a fire lit on its behalf, warms it up, so to speak, because that's the modality that it's in, that we can relate to the most in our physical world. So that's why we think we light a ner neshama. But by Rabbi Shimon, we learn otherwise, or we learn an addition. And the addition is the following: the very famous teaching of Shimon Bar Yochai said that it's preferable to jump into a furnace of fire than to give pain to another Jew. And that's a really, really hard, statement, that because we know that none of us are sadistic. Is that the right word? None of us are mean and we consciously want to hurt another Jew. If we're hurting somebody, it's because we're responding to something. Very few people will hurt someone for no reason. They usually hurt someone because that person hurt them, or they think that person hurt them, or they're in pain from somebody else who hurt them, and another person happens to be there and they want to take their pain out on something. Whatever it is, very few people are such that they just want to hurt for the sake of the pleasure, so to speak, the horrible pleasure that they must feel when they hurt somebody. People are not like that. Usually when we hurt somebody, it's because we have a reason. So Rabbi Shimon says it's better to jump into fire than litza'er, than to cause pain and anguish to another Jew. And we're thousands of years, we're trying to, absorb at least another level of that. Every year, like Bomer, he says, light the fires so that you remember my statement. This is a statement that Rabbi Shimon made in the Gemara. He made this statement in the Gemara in 3 places: in Brachos, in Gemara Sota, and above Messiah. 3 places he made this statement, or the statement was made quoting him. Now, what does that mean to jump into fire? So the very famous story. That that I forgot who it was in the Gemara, was he and his wife would every single day bring food to a poor family, and this poor family was so grateful, but the father of the family wanted to find out who is this every single morning, early in the morning, at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Progress.
Somebody who just keep on having to mute yourself. Sorry. Claire, you have to mute yourself. Thank you. So he and his wife ran away because one day this poor person who was a recipient of that charity decided to stay up all night and wait till he hears the movement outside of his door, and then see who it was that was giving him the food package. Was it Rebbe Meir and his wife? Maybe. So anyway, he did that. He stayed up in the middle of the night and he heard noise and he opened the door. And when he opened the door, the tzaddik and his wife didn't want to be identified because they didn't want to embarrass this man. They didn't want that he shouldn't be able to face them. So they ran, and they jumped into a bakery, into the first door that they could. It was a bakery, and the furnace, the oven was still on, and they both ran into the oven. And they didn't get burned, but it was pretty uncomfortable. And of course, it says that she wasn't burned at all, and the bottom of his feet got hot. And he asked her why the bottom of his feet got hot and not hers. And she said, because I physically give food. I was one who cooks the food. You just deliver it. I'm the first person. You give money. I give the food. The food is easy to enjoy immediately. Anyway, whatever it is, that story spurs on this idea of don't embarrass somebody, don't hurt somebody as best you can. I know we're all hurting from people who hurt us, and they're hurting from their own pain, whatever it is. We don't have, most of us, I would say all of us, don't have cruel, malicious people who are hurting for the sake of hurting other people for the sake of hurting. And we know that we always, we also hurt people. throw a comment, a thoughtless comment, etc. So that's why we light the fire by Rabbi Shimon, because Rabbi Shimon was one who taught us this. Don't embarrass somebody, rather jump into fire than embarrass or hurt somebody. And we want every single year, we want to reinforce this statement. So when you see the fire and you go close to it and you feel it's warm, you don't want to get closer than you want to get close, right? You don't want to get burned. Rather that getting closer and being uncomfortable than hurting somebody else. That's Rabbi Shimon's main teaching. That's why he says we light the fire on his yard side to remember him. Okay, now I am Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, just because many of you are, all of you are big tzaddikas, and so Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai explains that there are 3 ways that he greeted and hosted Eliyahu and Navi every single day. They learned together. But he explains that there are 3 ways that a person could have a revelation of Eliyahu and Navi in their life. And I'm sure that all of us have had that. I'll explain to you why. The highest revelation of Eliyahu and Navi, I don't think I had that, and I don't know if any of you had that. That's when Eliyahu and Navi comes to you in the original body that he was in when he left this world, which means he looks very biblical and he's covered in a very big cape, and he has this big wide leather belt in his middle, and he's wearing a long flowing ancient biblical clothing. That's how Eliyahu Navi used to come to Rabbi Shimon when they would learn Torah together. In his physical, the way he appeared in his physical body when he was in planet Earth. The second level, which some of us might have experienced, is Eliyahu Navi comes to a person dressed as something unlikely, dressed as a poor person, a merchant, anybody else could be dressed as a guy. Eliyahu Navi comes and somehow either helps the person, sends a message that helps the person, saves the person's life by intervening. We have many times Eliyahu Navi came, sometimes other angels come and dress up as people and intervene. So that's the second way Eliyahu Navi can come to you. And the third way he can come to you is in your mind. You can have an idea pops into your mind, a positive thought, an optimistic thought, a healthy thought, a happy thought, pops in out of nowhere, came in out of nowhere. That's how we usually experience Eliyahu Navi. Hashem sends Eliyahu Navi to you if you've done something very special, or even if just because Hashem loves us for free, and he pops a thought into our head. So it's Eliyahu Navi talking to us, but not through a person. Whenever you have that, say, thank you, Hashem. If that was Gilui Eliyahu, if that was a revelation, if that was you, Hashem, speaking to Eliyahu Navi, who spoke to me in my mind, thank you. Whenever you have a positive thought that pops in out of nowhere, a positive, optimistic thought that pops in out of nowhere, say, thank you, Hashem. Interestingly, everybody, all the tzaddikim emes, all the true tzaddikim in the world, of which Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, of course, is head of that group, they each come to fix a different part of the world. And that's described in the Zohar as fixing a different part of Adam Harishon. Imagining Adam Harishon as a structure of a person, and he has different body parts, and every tzaddik was assigned in the root of his soul or her soul, every tzaddik was assigned their own unique, special place in the fixing of Adam Harishon, which is really the fixing of the world. Because Adam Harishon's mistake in Gan Eden resulted in the world that we're in now, which is a big mess and needs a lot of fixing. So each of us is assigned, like we're in the army of Hashem, the Tzivos Hashem. And we are assigned to, our soul is connected to a tzaddik. Some people are aware of this and they search their whole life till they find their tzaddik. And then they are able to just live a life of pure bliss because they know exactly what their job is in this world and they just do it. Most people are muddling around trying to figure out who they are and, etc. Rebbe Shimon said that sometimes you have that all tzaddikim are given a particular assignment, and then they're given an army of neshamas that are their soldiers. So imagine that we're a soldier in the army of a particular tzaddik. Sometimes we do know who they are, sometimes we don't know who they are. And that tzaddik somehow knows spiritually how to use your mitzvot. It doesn't ever take away your reward, but the power of the mitzvah is also used to fix the world. You know that 45 tzaddikim were killed in Lag BaOmer 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And so the Yanuka said, he should be well, he said that they were all in the same team, spiritually, even though they didn't know each other. They were all they were all connected to the same tzaddik. And that tzaddik on Lag BaOmer finished the work that tzaddik's soul needed to do. And that's why they all perished together, because they were all part of that tzaddik's soul. And they all just instantaneously disappeared because they were all fixed and they all contributed to the fixing that tzaddik did. If I said that, you could ignore it, but when Yanuka says it, you don't ignore it. Okay, so now, the joy of Lag BaOmer. Why is it that Lag BaOmer is such a happy holiday? So I don't know if you've ever been privileged to be in Meron on Lag BaOmer, but with Hashem's graciousness and kindness and revealed kindness, because everything is kindness, but this is revealed kindness and compassion. I was there many times on Lag BaOmer. And it's such an interesting scene. I remember being there years and years ago. Nowadays, you don't see it so much, which is interesting. It used to be that by Lag BaOmer, all Israelis considered it like an Israeli festival day. And you'd have every type of Jew who was camping out in the area of Meron up until Tiberia. They would camp out all over the place in the north. It was like National Camping Out Day. And you see now, if you go in the stores here, they already there for a while. They've been selling tents. Israelis like to do this. They buy these tents and they go on vacation. They don't want to pay for a hotel, so they'll go to the Kinneret, and they'll just camp out someplace on the Kinneret on the beach or on the shore. There's that have signs, no bathing here, no lifeguard there's no lifeguard, no bathing. They camp out, they just make tents, and people just do that for this time of the year. And it was always such an interesting mix of people. You have people who are there who have no idea anything about the Kabbalah or Mishim Yochai or holiness, apparently. But they're drawn to Meron for years and years. It used to be a big scene. Lately, not so much. And it's interesting because you'll see in a second why. But at Meron, you have a whole week. They're already there in Meron because now you have to get tickets because of what happened 2 years ago. So now you have to register. You have to get tickets. Everything is they have like, I don't know. I wasn't there last year, and I'm not gonna. This year I didn't buy a ticket. But I was there the year that this whole thing happened. But why is it that everybody's so excited about Rebbe Shimon? And if you go here, all over the country, people make bonfires. And it's, again, as I said, it's like National Bonfire Day, National Eat Marshmallows, National Community Day, different yishuvim and and groups and neighborhoods, they'll all make like a neighborhood bonfire, and everybody will come and gather, and they'll bring potatoes and corn and marshmallows. There's a new thing now in Israel. We've got marshmallows and barbecues, and there's ala eish. It's a whole scene. Why? Why isn't the holy Tana of Rishim Bar Yochai should attract and inspire the whole land of Israel? You don't have this in Jews and Chutz La'aretz, to my knowledge. When I lived in Chutz La'aretz, and we never had the non-affiliated Jews. They didn't know what's Lag BaOmer. They didn't make bonfires and concerts and community activities. That wasn't. But here in Eretz Yisrael, it's national get together and relaxed day on Tuesday, Monday night and Tuesday. Why is that? So the tzaddikim explain like this. The soul of Rabbi Shimon came from the side of Gevura. And we know that we're doing the Sirah HaOmer now, right? Today is the Malchus Day of Netzach, every day of the Sirah. Rabbi Shimon's soul it says here, we're learning today, the whole learning today is from the Yenuka, from Rav Shlomo Yehuda Be'eri. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai had Tzaddik Mistisha Digvura. His soul was rooted in the side of Din, the side of judgment or justice. Shehu has Tzaddik, but what does that mean? Shemitakenu mamtik al hagvurot b'shorsham. He knew how to, and this is what he said about himself, he knew how to sweeten every single judgment. Whatever judgment was against any Jew, like Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Berdishev, he knew how to somehow, according to Din, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak did it with love, but Rabbi Shimon did it with Din. He found a way, according to Din, to get every Jew into a place of chesed, into a place of exoneration and not guilty and innocent and holy. He would pick up every Jew on level and level and level. First he would get him out of Gehenna, and then he would pull him up until he got to Gan Eden. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai had a soul that knew how to battle using the tools of judgment to get a Jew out of judgment, using judgment, and to get a Jew into a sweetened life of chesed in the level of soul. That's what his power was. And every single Jew needs him. We all need that. All of us, if we would be judged according to the letter of the law, we wouldn't survive a second. So, and that's Hashem's kindness, and Hashem gives us time to do tshuva in life, because without tshuva, for a second we did anything wrong, that would be it. Evaporation. We wouldn't be here anymore. So B'Shimon, that was his power, is that he appeals to every single Jew, the soul of every Jew. Jews don't even understand. So many times we behave in a way that we don't consciously make a choice to do something, but we behave in such a way, our soul pulls us to do something. The other day, the stirot are associated with colors. So it happens to be that we're in the week of Netzach. Next week is the week of Hod. It happens to be that according to Rabbi Kaplan, the color of Netzach is light pink, and which is, I have here on my shirt. I'm backwards on my camera, so I can't see when I lift up one arm. This one here, that's my pink. And light pink. And next week Hod is a little bit darker pink. It's the colors of if you pull down your eye, of the underneath inside the eye. And I was giving a class yesterday, and a woman came with an uncharacteristically beautiful pink shirt, like a big pink. It was catching your eye. So I said to her, "Did you dress today consciously?" She said, "No, that was what caught her eye that morning." I said, "That's the exact color of the sphere of this whole week." And she couldn't believe it. She said she oftentimes does that, where she dresses like something pulls her, a certain color pulls her, and she just wears it. And then somebody will remark on that. Not always will they remark that that's the sphere of the week, but so yeah, because her soul knows that. The brain doesn't always know. The brain doesn't catch necessarily the messages of the soul. or the knowledge of the soul. If our brain could contain the knowledge of our soul, we would be smarter than AI. So the soul of every single Jew in Israel, it's an interesting phenomenon that is here in Eretz HaKodesh, Eretz Israel, the land that God gave to the Jewish people forever and ever. The souls of the Jews here, even those who are not affiliated, even those who are anti-Chas V'Shalom, they're not really anti, they just haven't been educated properly. Those souls are drawn to Rabbi Shimon, and they come to the north and they make barbecues and they make, they make bonfires and they make community gatherings. Where is that? It's because their soul is definitely alive and potent and talking to them. You know that tzaddikim have a nickname, many nicknames for tzaddikim. And one of the nicknames of tzaddikim that we give to tzaddikim is, we call them Shabbos. It's interesting, right? Shabbos is Shabbos. It's the day of the week. Tomorrow, 2 nights is going to be Shabbos. What's it? Yeah, tomorrow night Shabbos. So tzaddikim are also called Shabbos. You know why? Okay, you'll say Shabbos is the holiest day of the week, and the tzaddik is the holiest type of a person, true. But also the true tzaddikim are, as we said before, are trying to fix the world. And the world, fixing the world represents the idea of fixing the sin of Adam Harishon. So how come Adam Harishon didn't perish immediately when he and Chava ate? How come he didn't perish right away? So the Zohar Kadosh says that Shabbos came and protected Adam Harishon. And therefore Adam Harishon recited a song to thank Shabbos. And he said, and you know this because it's our Tehillim, Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbos. Tzadik Beis 92. We say it's the Shir Shal Yom of Shabbos, and we say it at Kabbalah Shabbat. When we say it, some halacha says, there's an opinion that says that that's when you say that's when you makabel Shabbos. We're a woman, we light candles when makabel Shabbos, but in case you make it tonight, that you have to go someplace, let's say you have to light candles and go in the elevator down or up or whatever, you can make a Tanaya condition that said, before you light candles, you make a Tanaya condition and say, Hashem, I'm lighting candles with my bracha, that's my mitzvah, but I'm not being makabel Shabbos until either I recite mincha, or I get to shul, or I say, one of the things is to say, Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbos, to say that parak of Tehillim, that's in the Siddur. So Shabbos sweetened the din, the judgment of Adam Harishon, and the tzaddikim sweetened the judgments of all Jews. So if you want to be associated with tzaddikim, and this is the time to talk about it, because as I said, Rabbi Meir's yahrzeit is tonight and tomorrow. Rabbi Meir Balanes, he's buried in Tveria. And Rabbi Akiva, this whole Sfiras Omer is commemorating his yahrzeit. His yahrzeit is really in Yom Kippur, but the whole Sfiras Omer is commemorating the students of Rabbi Akiva. And Rabbi Shimon's yahrzeit is on Lag BaOmer. And also Naomi's father, Feivel ben Yaakov, who's the shiurs in his memory, and that's close to him. So anytime we try to fix the world, we're tapping into the energy of the tzaddikim, who have unbelievable compassion. And that's how you can tell really who a tzaddik is, by their levels of compassion. Doesn't mean they speak always with, mushy, lovey terms, but their heart is compassion. And you can feel that. I once was privileged years and years ago to go to a tzaddik, a Sephardi Mikubal, who was the great uncle of one of my students, who's in Gan Eden already. He's also in Gan Eden already, this tzaddik. And he used to see, he had vision, he could see things. And he saw what a certain person was going through. And he broke down weeping like a baby. I saw it. I watched him weep. His shoulders were shaking so much he was weeping for the pain of that person, of that Jew. Okay, one more thing, then we're finished. So there's a story in the Gemara, all that stories now. The story in the Gemara that says like this. In Masechah Shvius, it says like this, that there was a discussion about Sfichim on Shvius. We just finished now Shemitah. We're in the year after Shemitah. So Sfichim means like this. Let's say, on Shemitah we don't plant anything. But let's say out of nowhere, in the middle of Shemitah, you look into your garden and a cucumber grew and you're living there. And a cucumber grew. Like, how'd that happen? You didn't plant it. Somehow a cucumber grew in the middle of Shemitah. That you can't eat. You can't eat that. Well, some of them you can, some of them you can't. But sfichim is a certain type of vegetable that on Shemitah you're not allowed to eat vegetables, not fruits. Certain vegetable that you're not allowed to eat on Shemitah that grows by itself. So Rabbi Shimon thought his opinion was that you could eat it, but the rabbis disagreed with him. And we know that in the Talmud they established what the law is, and majority usually rules. So the rabbis said forbidden. So Rabbi Shimon accepted that. A little bit later, Rabbi Shimon was walking in the fields, and it was Shemitah, and he sees a Jew eating sfichim, which he himself had felt was allowed, but the rabbis had forbade. So he says to that Jew, "What are you eating sfichim? You're not allowed to eat sfichim on Shemitah." And so the Jew said, "But you, Rebbe, your opinion is that you can." So he said, "My opinion was not accepted by the Sanhedrin, it wasn't ruled as halacha. And my opinion is that you always have to go by halacha. You want to know what my opinion in halacha is? My opinion in halacha is that you have to go with the halacha. And you have to know what's my true ratzon. My true desire is that you go by halacha, not that you go by my lone opinion." So that's a story in the Gemara. And so the Yanuka says like this. He says, if you celebrate Lag BaOmer and you don't internalize the lessons that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was trying to teach us of not hurting anyone and of not embarrassing anyone, then it's like this guy who was trying to do the actual physical idea of Rabbi Shimon, but not getting to the heart of what Rabbi Shimon wanted. Rabbi Shimon wanted every Jew. The heart of Lag BaOmer is reinforce again and again and again, because this is for our whole life. Reinforce Ahavas Yisrael. Reinforce it again and again. There's infinite amounts of Ahavas Yisrael. Every time you meet a Jew, say, I want to love that Jew. Please, Hashem, help my mind and my heart to love that Jew, to help that Jew, to encourage that Jew. And we all make mistakes. I made a major mistake this morning. I have to apologize to somebody. Usually you make the mistakes with the people closest to you. So, but we have to start again and again. Pesach Sheni, start again and again, and keep doing it, keep working on Ahavas Yisrael, on loving each other, on helping each other, on being there for each other, on being compassionate. You should have the greatest Pesach Sheni, and Reb Meir should have an Aliyas Neshama Hira, and we should have attachment to him. You should have the greatest Shabbos, and you should have the greatest Lag BaOmer. And Rabbi Shimon, attachments for Rabbi Shimon, and all the tzaddikim who are alive now should be healthy and strong and stay alive, stay supported, stay protected, and stay successful. Bye, everybody. I have to run into town. Bye, Carmit. Bye, Dahlia. Bye, Ellen. Hi, it's so good to see you, Ellen. Hi, Ginny. Hi, Janice. Hi, Joanne. Hi, MK. Hi, Pauline. Hi, R. Hi, Stella. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Shoshana. Hi, Yehuda Batya. And hi, whoever I know me, and whoever's on the phone. Have a great day. See you soon. Be'ezrat Hashem.
You too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom.